All right, let's do this. Ready? So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's do it. All right, hello. Hello and welcome, everyone. Hello and welcome. Welcome to another episode of the Empowered Immigrant Live. I'm happy to be here with you today. My name is Otis Landerholm. I'm the founding attorney here at Landerholm Immigration, A.P.C, where we fight for your American dream. And thank you for being here. And, it's Thursday. It's Thursday, the 9th of February of 2023. So happy to be here with you. Thank you to everybody on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. Thank you for being here with me. Today we're talking about spouse cases, marriage cases, love cases. Valentine's Day is next week, everybody. Are you in love? All right. Are you in love with a foreign national? You want to help out and bring the love of your life into the United States so they can have immigration status here and live here with you and get all that sorted out. Let's talk about that, and let's really do the analysis on which of the love cases is best. All right, you're going to get my opinion today on which of the love cases is best. Fiance visas or spouse visas in honor of San Valentin and the month of love that February sometimes becomes. Okay? And so welcome, and thank you for being here. Here at the Empowered Immigrant Live, we are here to train, teach, inspire, and empower immigrants to make the most out of immigration laws and to make the most out of their lives. All right? Today our theme is love cases. Fiance versus marriage-based cases, which is better? How do they work? We'll talk about that. My question for you is, do you want to get a green card this year? Is this year your year? Because if so, go for it. All right? I'd love to help you with that. My firm is on a mission to win 10,000 immigration cases by 2035. We would love for your case to be one of them. Also, thanks for everybody who's here who have questions. Send your questions as we're going. I'll talk about the legal topic, and then, as always, time permitting, I'll open it up for other questions. And as always, I'll do this first in English, and then we'll do the same episode in Spanish. So if you speak Spanish, if you prefer Spanish, come back in about 30 minutes. We'll do it in Spanish. Okay? Alec B., hello. Good day. All right, good to see you. Yacerto, hello. Gagastical, hello. Thanks to everybody for being here. I'm going to start with an empowerment tip. And I also, it's the 9th of February. Yesterday there was a horrible, horrible earthquake in Turkey and Syria that's affecting the world. And so, our heart goes out to the people who are affected by that earthquake. It's like a serious natural disaster. And so I want to say that, right? And I want to thousands and thousands and thousands of people have lost their lives, not to mention injuries, homes destroyed, things like that. And so anyway, I want to just acknowledge that, all right? And I do want to move forward with our session. And so for my empowerment tip for today, we're talking about love cases. So let's talk about love, all right? I love love cases. I love doing them. I love bringing loved ones in from other parts of the world so that we can unite families, create families. It's a beautiful thing. And so Valentine's Day is around the corner, all right? So my empowerment tip is about that, right? It's how do you work to keep your relationship strong? What are the things that you do to keep your relationship strong? In my law firm, in my business, right, we have weekly meetings. We call them our PDI, all right, Personal Development Interview, PDI. And we have these every week. And this is not something that I started knowing how to do. I was trained in this. And every week we talk about, hey, what's going right and what could improve? What's going right and what are we going to work on this week? Every single week to move things forward. And we do this in the business, but I want to share it with you. My wife and I do this now every single week. She does my PDI, I do hers. So we're in constant communication, right? What went right in our relationship in the past week, and what didn't go so well? What are areas for improvement? Hey, you know something, Otis? I didn't like that, you left the house without picking up your socks from the ground, or without, doing some, you were supposed to take the trash out or something. I'm usually pretty good about those things, and Wendy, to her credit, is very good about, hey, I know you've got a lot in your brain right at this moment, but focus on these 3 things that I need you to do. Okay, done. Boom, we'll do it. Okay? And so, but the amazing thing is touching base with your spouse, touching base with your partner, touching base with the person you love the most regularly, to ask them for feedback. Like, we're really curious. Hey, I have a goal to be an awesome husband. I have a goal to be an awesome father. Right? And so the person that I can touch base with the most about those 2 goals, about like how can I up-level who I am being at home, is my wife. And she's a powerhouse. If you ever meet Wendy, she's like really amazing. But the 2 of us together have an amazing relationship because we work on it. And we're curious with each other about, we just are curious with each other. How can we move our relationship forward towards the goals that we both mutually have? All right? Not in a controlling way, not in a, we don't hold grudges. Right? This isn't like hey, you didn't do this, that, or the other thing. Now I'm going to take something away from you. Love is not a trade, right? Right? It's you give love because you choose to give love, but it's also part of love is accepting people's feedback, and growing from it, and learning from it, and changing things up, right? To be mutually beneficial for everybody involved. So anyway. I don't like it when I hear that like one spouse feels like they deserve to, X, Y, and Z from the relationship. It's like they gave this, so they deserve this. Like, forget all that. Forget all that. That's not actually the way human relationships work. Human relationships are give, 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 give. You'll get sometime. Don't worry about it. Keep giving. All right? And then if it's, if you do that fully, you'll have a great relationship. All right? But be open. Part of giving is being open to feedback and things like that. Anyway, I hope that was useful. I've rambled on a little bit. Hope that was helpful. If it was, let me know. If it wasn't, let me know that too. We're talking about love. I'm a guy who's a big proponent of and a big believer of being in love. Like, go for it. It's cool. All right, so now let's talk about immigration. Let's talk about love cases in the context of immigration. And really, we're talking about fiancé visas versus marriage-based green cards in honor of Valentine's Day. Fiancé visas versus marriage-based green cards. Which is better? Which is faster? What do you recommend, Otis? Why? We'll talk about all this, all right? So, the big question for this analysis is like, are you in love with a foreign national? You wish that she or he were here in the U.S., they're outside the U.S., and it's like, what's the best way of bringing them here lawfully? All right? Now, different immigration attorneys will answer this question differently. All right? But in my opinion, you ready for it? In my opinion, marriage-based cases are better and fiancé cases are worse. Let me say that again. In my opinion, marriage-based cases are better, simpler, less expensive, more advantageous for you to bring your spouse into the U.S., and fiancé visas are worse than marriage-based cases. That is my personal opinion after having done both of these types of cases for years, and I want to explain why that is, okay? All right? So marriage-based cases, yes, you got to go get married first, okay? But once you're married, you've got a 3-step process. All right, step 1, you file a marriage-based petition, the I-130. Step 2 is you've got to do a process through the National Visa Center once that petition's approved. And step 3, your spouse goes to a green card interview at their U.S. consulate overseas. We're talking about it when your loved one is out of the country. These are the processes to get them a visa if they don't have one, right, so that they can enter the country as your spouse. After that green card interview, now your spouse can enter the U.S. and get a green card right away. No further processing once they're here, right? There's a fee to pay, but it's a simpler process all in all. Versus fiancés, it's a 5-step process. All right, it's still doable. All right, we've done it a lot. I've done it, for many, many, many people. It's a 5-step process. Step 1 is the fiancé petition. Step 2 is the National Visa Center processing. Step 3 is the fiancé visa interview, where your fiancé goes to the U.S. consulate, to get a visa in their passport, right? But then wait a second, what are these other steps? Well, after they got the visa in their passport, now they enter the U.S. Now you have 90 days to get married. And then step 4 is you file a whole new adjustment of status process in the U.S. to get their green card, which starts a whole new, 1.5 to 2 years is what it's taking right now, process in the U.S. And then step 5 is you've got to go to a whole other interview, you and your new spouse here in the U.S. in order to get that green card approved, right? So that's why the fiancé visa process is more expensive. That's why I recommend it less, because there's 5 steps involved versus 3 steps if it's a marriage-based case. Both are legal processes. Both have things that need to be filed and proven to the government, and some government officer will approve them and may deny them or may request more evidence of them. But it's like, how many times do you want to be following up with immigration? 3 times or 5 times? My recommendation is go for the simpler process wherever possible, and that's a marriage-based process, my friends. So I wanted to explain that. Just to bring greater clarity to it, there are still benefits. Some people hire us, and some people do this for a fiancé. The fiancé process might be better for you in certain situations. One, you might be able to enter the United States slightly faster, all right? It's much slower to get a green card, but it might be slightly faster to at least enter the U.S., okay? Like a couple months faster, depending on the country and depending on the backlogs for fiancé cases versus spouse cases, all right? Another possible benefit of the fiancé process is, some people, they're not sure if they really want to get married, all right? So you've got to intend to get married in order to even win the fiancé petition, step 1. But, the benefit, one possible benefit of a fiancé visa is you get to decide. You've got 90 days, you've got 3 months on the visa to have your fiancé come to the U.S., see your home, meet your friends, decide, hey, do we really want to get married? Let's do we really want to commit to this? And if you don't, then the person would be out of status after 90 days. And so then the best advice would be to leave the U.S. so that they can apply for a different visa in the future. No harm, no foul. But if they do want to commit, then get married and file your adjustment of status. Right? So the fiancé visa process gives people a little bit of time, 3 months, not very much, but a little bit of time to, hey, see your place, get to know, do we really like, let's try living together for 1.5 of those 3 months and see, do we really want to commit to this? All right. The other possible benefit is you get married in the U.S. Some people want to have their marriage license be from the United States as opposed to from some other part of the world. It might be simpler depending on what country, your fiance is from. The marriage process itself might be simpler in the U.S. than in whatever other country it is, depending on the laws of that country, right? Those are some benefits of the fiance process. Yes, there are some benefits of the fiance process. The benefits, though, of the marriage-based process is it's more straightforward with immigration. That's like a huge benefit, all right? It's typically much less expensive, all right, because there's 2 huge steps fewer in it, all right? And your spouse can get a green card immediately after entry instead of going through an additional 18 to 24-month process after they've arrived to the U.S., looking at just current processing times, right? So that's it. That's what I wanted to explain. Either way, fiance or marriage-based, either way, I love cases. That's what I call them. That's how I refer to them. And I definitely recommend filing those types of cases to bring a foreign national from another part of the world, right, to the U.S. I very much recommend and appreciate marrying someone from another culture, right, or with different traditions and backgrounds. My wife was born in Taiwan, for example, and we speak Mandarin Chinese to our children at home. And it's like, that's cool, right? Multicultural families are awesome. All right, I highly recommend them. And so anyway, so if you're in love, if you're looking for guidance on what's the best way to do this, how's the best process to be able to legally bring your spouse to the United States, hey, we're all for it. Please reach out. We'd love to help you navigate that process. Got it? Awesome. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you all so much for being here. I do have some questions, so let me get into your questions. So Alec B, I see you, and I see your question here. You say, my question today is, if you overstayed your visa and you have a fiance, if you overstayed your visa and you have a fiance who's a U.S. citizen, is it possible to do an I-485, or do you have to go through the consular process after the fact? Okay, you'd like to get married first and then depart the U.S. and apply for an immigrant visa abroad. Okay, Alec B, you're asking a great question, and I didn't even discuss this as one of the possible options because my theme for today is how to bring a spouse from overseas. But you're saying you're already here, or your fiance is already here in this case. And so do it here. All right? The better scenario of all of that is if your spouse is already in the U.S. and you're getting married now, file the I-485, do the whole case here in the United States, avoid consular processing completely. It is such a better process. I'll say that again. If you're in a relationship with a foreign national, if you're a U.S. citizen in a relationship with a foreign national who's here in the U.S., forget everything that I talked about. Talk to an immigration lawyer and file an adjustment of status for your spouse. Forget fiancé visas. Forget marriage-based consular cases and do a marriage-based green card adjustment of status here in the United States. It's so much better. Okay? Alec B., thank you for asking that question. Arneida McDonald, greetings. Greetings to you as well. Thank you for that. Makan, thank you for your question. You ask, how long does it take to get decisions for a motion to reopen with the BIA? Well, thank you for asking that question. That's a tough question to answer, though, because it depends on how much complexity is involved in that motion. All right? Like I've seen motions to reopen with the BIA that took 18 months, a year and a half to get a decision on them. And I've also seen, okay, about 8 months or so, you get a decision. So that's a big difference. That's like a year of difference depending on the amount of complexity and the current backlogs with the BIA. Right now, in my experience, there were fewer deportation cases that were decided last year and recently, in large part because of the pandemic, right? The immigration courts are still speeding up. But what that means is that the BIA is actually a little bit faster right now than they used to be. Fewer backlogs at the BIA at the appellate level, many more backlogs in the immigration court level. So in my experience, motions to reopen are actually a little bit on the fast side right now, but still I'd give it 6 to 8 months as a normal amount of processing time. And then if you have seriously complex arguments in your motion to reopen, it might take even longer. Got it? All right. Yacerto, I see you there too on Instagram. Hello. So you say, we got married a couple of years ago, still waiting for an interview. We filed a pardon, like a waiver, with your adjustment of status case. Got it. About 2 years ago. What do you think the wait would be at this point? So one clarifying question. Yacerto, thank you for asking this. Are you doing this as an adjustment of status here in the U.S., or are you talking about a case where you're overseas? I don't know where you're contacting me from. Are you inside the United States or are you outside the United States? Can you answer that on Instagram here real quickly? Inside the U.S. or outside the U.S.? Here's why it matters. I don't see your response, but maybe send it over when you can. If you're inside the U.S., yeah, here in the U.S. Okay, thank you for asking that. If you're inside the U.S. and you filed and you're a case 2 years ago and your receipt notices say, February of 2021, literally 2 years ago, then yeah, depending on your field office, you should be ready. You should be expecting an interview relatively soon. Okay? And so, some things might cause delays there if they ever ask for an RFE or, you could talk to your lawyer if you had a lawyer help you. Figure out maybe why there was a delay there. If it's really outside of normal processing times, have your lawyer start doing inquiries about it, right? And push them to issue an interview. Another thing I wanted to say, some marriage-based cases, we've actually been seeing, our office got 5 green cards approved last week, all right, for our clients, and 3 of them were marriage-based cases that did not require an interview. So that's an interesting development. In certain instances, the government can waive the interview requirements. All right, so that's exciting to see the Biden administration start to try that on some cases. So anyway, Yacerto, that's my response, right? You should be expecting an interview soon. If it's still outside of processing time, start the inquiry process. And no, you shouldn't go out of the U.S. unless you are doing a consular case, right? If you're doing an adjustment of status case, do it here in the U.S. If you're doing a consular case, then yeah, you have to. It depends on how you entered the United States, because in order to adjust status, you have to have been lawfully inspected and admitted or paroled into the United States. And if you weren't that, then yeah, it's got to be a consular case, and those cases take much longer. Okay? And so anyway, Yacerto, that's it. I hope that answers your question. If you have more questions or if there's any ambiguity or unclarity, give my office a call. We'd love to help you. Okay? Alec B., I see you here. Thank you for the helpful information about immigration law. Hopefully I can fix my situation also one day. Hey, Alec B., I'd love to help you with that. All right? Yacerto, you got it. All right, thank you. Everybody who's asked your question, Alec B., Yacerto, Macan, Arneida, hello. Thank you all so much. I really appreciate you. Everybody on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, thank you all so much. If this was useful, please give our video a thumbs up or a heart or whatever. Give us some love on the platform you're watching us on, all right? And if you want more videos like this, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click that notifications bell in YouTube so that you can receive other videos and updates, all right? And if you have an immigration case, hey, please reach out. Please give us a call. All right, we are here to help. We would love to help. CE user, can you adjust status to a green card while on a TN visa? Hey, if you're married to a U.S. citizen, absolutely you can. All right, absolutely you can. I'd love to help you with it. All right, Arnita McDonald, how does it work with military personnel who are forward deployed and have a fiance from the country member that they're deployed to? That's a great question. If a military personnel is a U.S. citizen, hey, they have the right to file a petition just like anybody else, and that's a great case. All right, that's a great case. And so if we could help you with that, we'd love to help you navigate that. All right, everybody, thank you all so much. We'll see you next week on our next episode of the Empowered Immigrant Live. Remember, if you speak Spanish, join us here in Spanish in just a few minutes. Thank you all. CE user, I'll have to answer that next time. Thank you all so much. Take care. Bye-bye.